Hey guys. So it is Monday night. I am sitting on my couch and I just finished talking to God. But I just want to share something really quick with you guys. And some of you probably already know this because I've shared it before. But I just want to tell you guys, be specific with the type of mate that you request from God. Be specific. So the night before I met my ex-husband, I was in the room watching the movie Just Right with Queen Latifah, right? One of my favorite movies. And it was at the end of the movie, and if you haven't watched it, this will still make sense to you, but if you haven't watched Just Right, I honestly would recommend you watch it. It's a really good movie, and it's really romantic at the end. Well, throughout, just watch it. Anyways, I'll link it in the description. But, and you guys probably aren't going to see this video until tomorrow. But I was watching the movie Just Right with Queen Latifah, and it was at the end of the movie, and Common was like pouring his heart out to Queen Latifah, right? He had finally came to his senses, and you guys know Common. He's a rapper. He's also an actor, but he is so fine to me. Like, I think he's so handsome. But it was just the part in that movie where he was just like, his smile, like he had the prettiest smile. He was just pouring his heart out to her, right? And Queen Latifah was being all hardcore. But it was so romantic to me. So I was watching the movie the night before I met my ex-husband, and I said, it wasn't even a prayer. I just started talking to God. I was like, Lord, just send me somebody like Common, like this, who's going to pour his heart out, blah, blah, blah. I just went on this rant, right? And I was just talking. It was just like a me and God moment. And I didn't think anything of it because I wasn't even like where I needed to be with God at the time. I was getting there. But it's just something that came out. I was just like, Lord, just send me somebody like Common, fine, handsome, pretty smile. Look at him just pouring his heart out to her. And I was just going on and on and on. The next day, I met my ex-husband, right? And when we first started talking, I was like, Lord, you never worked that fast on my behalf. I'm like, that wasn't even like a prayer that I said yesterday. And now today I'm meeting my ex-husband. I was like, man, something got to be wrong. So I remember praying to God throughout the time that I was getting to know my ex-husband. I was like, Lord, if he's not for me, remove him from my life. I was like, usually when I pray that prayer, you remove people from my life in 24 hours. And that's the truth, y'all. Whenever I pray the prayer, Lord, please remove a person from my life, that person be gone, y'all. They be like Casper the Friendly Ghost. I mean, gone, right? And nothing usually happens. Like, they're just out. So I prayed that prayer. God never got rid of him. Whatever. Fast forward. Yes, I ended up going through a divorce and the whole nine. But the divorce, it was bigger than me. The divorce pushed me into purpose, and I always share that with you guys. Like, I never would be at this level with God had I not went through that divorce and been so broken down. I've never been that broken in my life and just ran to God full force. So God had his own agenda, but trust and believe. I prayed for God to remove my ex-husband from my life before he proposed to me, before we got married. I said that prayer because that's my go-to prayer for everybody, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship. I pray that prayer for everybody that comes into my life, and God allowed him to stay. And now, of course, I know it was way bigger than a marriage. It was about saving my soul, but also saving my ex-husband's soul. Like, I was going to be that person that was going to stand for him, that was going to cover him in prayer. Nobody else in his family was doing that. But God used me to do it, and I'm happy that he did. But I remember a few months after the divorce, I was on a long walk. I was living in Austin at the time. I was on a long walk, and I would always get off work and go on walks with the Lord, right? And I was just talking to him. I was like, Lord, I prayed for somebody like Common. You sent me my ex-husband. I was like, yeah, my ex-husband's fine. He got the pretty teeth, the whole nine. He done apologize like Common several times before too, okay? I said, but that's not what I meant. I remember the Lord telling me, you have to go through the whole movie to get to the end. You just said send you somebody like Common, and you were at the end of the movie. But you have to go through the whole movie to get to the end. I was like, oh, no, you didn't, Lord. Like, he literally said, you have to go through the whole movie, as in you have to walk this out. And if you've watched the movie Just Right before, Common was double-minded. He was chasing the pretty model girl who really didn't have his best interest. Meanwhile, Queen Latifah is like the one who's there for him, who's helping him get well and the whole nine. And he dumps her to go back to the one who just had the physical features, did not have a heart for him or anything. But at the end of the day, Common ended up running back to Queen Latifah because he knew he was in love with Queen Latifah. He knew the only reason why he kept choosing her cousin in the movie, or her god sister, because it wasn't her cousin. It was her god sister in the movie that he was dating. It was all for beauty, for her looks, but she did not have the heart of a wife. That wasn't the person for him. And he didn't figure that out until the end. So the Lord clapped back as I was on this walk and my face is itching, Holy Spirit. He was like, you got to go through the whole movie to get to the end. You just was telling me you want comment from the end of the movie. But he wasn't like that throughout the movie. He was double-minded and a hot mess in distress. And I was so shocked, guys, when the Lord clapped back at me like this. I was like, oh, no, you didn't, Lord. Oh, no, you didn't. But yes, he did, y'all. So I tell you guys this small portion of my life, my love story, my divorce, all of that good stuff. I say this to say, be specific with what you ask God for when you are praying for a spouse or whatever you pray for. Be specific. And there's no particular way to pray to God. He just wants you to have a conversation with him. And that could sound like a normal conversation that you're having with your friend. And the Lord receives that as prayer. Okay, when you invite him in, okay, even though I was having a random conversation, I didn't bow down on the side of my bed and go into prayer mode. I was just looking at the movie and I just randomly started having a conversation. But that is a form of prayer. So be careful what you speak and what you ask God for, guys. Be very careful, but be specific, because the Lord legit told me you got to go through the whole movie to get to the end, to get to the comment part. You just said the end. You got to the end and asked me for the comment at the end, but you got to walk the whole story out. The Lord told me that, guys. So be careful with your prayers. Be very careful, but be specific. Okay, you can give God the details of what your heart desires. At the end of the day, we're still like, Lord, let your will be done. But he wants to know the desires of your heart. And some of the doors, the relationships that you got into was because of stuff y'all spoke. Not knowing that you were speaking that out loud into the atmosphere. God caught what you were saying and he allowed it and opened the door. But it always works out for your good. So I just wanted to release this really quick word, guys. As I'm sitting here on my couch, there's nothing on the TV. I just closed my Bible and I'm just sitting here, guys, because I'm not sleepy. It's 11:20 p.m. And again, you guys probably won't see this until tomorrow, Tuesday. But yeah, be specific with your prayers. Be very specific and know that to get to your good love story, you got to walk this thing out. And y'all hear me say that all the time. You literally have to walk it out. Like, you have to walk this story out. God wrote the story. He knows the story, but he's not going to tell you every part of it. Because if he did, you would be like, you know what, Lord? I'm good. I don't even want this. Like, we're good. I don't want any of this. Like, I don't want, forget it. Just forget it. But he wrote the story, guys. He wrote the story before you were born. He knows what's going to happen. He knows the twists and turns in the story. But be specific with your prayers. Okay? Be specific with your prayers, because I asked for a common little double-minded self, and that's what I got. Okay? I got the tall, dark, handsome, 6'4", wavy hair, 12-pack, cute teeth, the whole common type deal. Okay? But the Lord had told me, you got to go through the whole movie to get to the ending. So on that note, guys, have a good night. I just wanted to share this with y'all, but I love y'all. Bye.